Hello everybody, I'm Richard Hellman, here again to bring forth our Middle East Security Alert for the week. This time I want to discuss briefly and update you on a topic which is on everybody's mind and which is in all of our media almost 24/7. That is the threat from Iran and the ongoing negotiations that our State Department and the others of the Security Council, the others of the five Security Council members, and Germany are negotiating with the Iran regime's representatives. And as Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, pointed out several weeks ago in the joint session to our Congress, this threat is no less to America than it is to Israel. In fact, in some ways, the missiles that Iran is very publicly developing, the long-range intercontinental ballistic missiles, are not aimed at hitting Israel, they're aimed at hitting us. And every threat that is against Israel from Iran is even stronger against America, which Iran calls the Great Satan, as compared to Israel, the Little Satan. So we've been asking not just for continuation of the present sanctions against Iran, but more sanctions and other measures like consideration of those measures which ended the Cold War. That is to say, a trade ban such as we had against the Soviet Union, the Soviet Empire in the Cold War, that there would be no free trade with America until the Soviet Union mended its ways. So too should that be the way with Iran. And we also should develop even more robust anti-missile defenses, because that, in addition to the trade ban and the Helsinki Treaty intrusive inspections and complete reporting and complete transparency, brought down the Soviet Empire, and I dare say it can bring down the Iranian regime and even the pretenses of a new Russian empire that President Putin seems to want to resurrect. So let's insist that the Senate and the House, regardless of some of the partisan bickering between the House and the Senate, and between the Republicans and the Democrats, and between the Congress and the White House about Iran and the negotiations, let's insist that our Congress pass new legislation requiring that any agreement with Iran be brought before the Congress for ratification, and that it contain these elements that I'm describing, that not only will nuclear weapons not be tolerated at any time in the future by this Iran regime, but they must stop their incitement to genocide against Israel, threats to eliminate Israel. They must stop their sponsorship of terror. They must stop their promotion of brutal dictators like Bashar al-Assad of Damascus, and they must stop their rampant rage to dominate the entire Middle East and North Africa region. So let's tell our senators and our representatives, you're not being too tough on Iran. We should say, you're not being tough enough. Toughen up and tell the president that unless we really have an agreement that forces a real change in how the Iranian government does business across this whole range of issues, we're better off without an agreement, even if that leaves it up to America or Israel or both of them together to take other measures, all the measures on the table, including clandestine activities and sabotage and military actions. So this is a tough message, but I think this is what Americans really want, because more than 71% of them do not believe that this agreement is going to end Iran's nuclear ambitions. And in fact, no one but you and I are looking at these other issues, which are equally, if not more, atrocious on the part of the Iran regime. So use our website to take this message to the senators and the representatives. Go to cpaconline.org and send this message to your senators and your representative. Then renew your membership and help us to take this case to the Congress and thereby to the White House and really block Iran's march to nuclear weapons and its other law breaking that I've described. Thanks very much, and we'll get together again next week.